What's going on, guys? So, as promised last week, said I'd just jump on and do a little breakdown of GJ for you. So let's get started. So before I jump into the trades, I think it's important on GJ we just have a look at what's going on the higher time frame. So let's get rid of all this mess. So yeah, pretty evident from the week with what we're looking at. This thing just isn't stopping at the moment, to be honest. From kind of back end of last year, it's been on an absolute mission. So I had one bearish week so far, other than that, which was December. But other than that, I mean, this thing is literally just flying. Now, I know we've taken some kind of intraday shorts on this pair, but overall, I wouldn't really be looking at selling this pair at the moment. So, yeah, just having a look now. 148 is looking quite nice, to be honest. So this would be my next kind of region where you could be potentially looking at reversal, or I don't really think GJ is going to reverse as such. I think we're just looking for pullbacks now. Obviously, it's been on quite a bullish run, so it is due to run out of steam and pull back. But I think long term for this year, it's going to keep going up, GJ. But yeah, like you can see, if we look back here, kind of December last year, you've got, again, similar kind of situation on the weekly where we've big impulsive move up. Tapped out into 148, big spike up there, and then a pullback. And then actually quite interesting as well, which shows the strength of this 148 region is from that. The week later, we've got a big bearish engulfing. So if we're looking, take it from the highs there, that's a huge week, 500 pips almost. So definitely this region, kind of 146 to 148, about 200 pip region, where we could potentially get some kind of medium-sized shorts. But I still do think this pair could come down lower and then have another leg up and break 148 and move towards 150. So that's overall long term. Like I said, we've caught many a long trades on this impulse move up. If we just drop to the lower time frames. So back end of last week, just as we expected, really. 144 got tapped really nicely. As you can see here in this highlighted zone. So we had the breakout, which we'll go on to in a minute. We had a little bit of kind of consolidation around this region, like 100 pip region, which I'll show you some of the longs and shorts that we caught in here. But ultimately what we was looking for was this break of 144, this kind of huge move we saw up, and then we had to come back down and retest it, which was something we was looking for before taking the next move up. As you can see now, 145 has been breached. And then we're looking for this kind of space around here now, 145 to 147-ish. I think we're going to fly up to there, to be honest. It's what we do from that point, which will be interesting, but get rid of all this stuff. So I'll just show you the trades that we took last week. So yeah, that's the higher time bias. We've got this pair continuing to go up, really. Next target for me, 146. I can see that being hit next week, to be honest. I think looking at Friday's close here, completely engulfed all this price action here. To me, I think we're going to see a quick start to next week, presuming that there's no massive fundamentals over the weekend, but I've not heard of anything. So yeah, I'm seeing this just tapping 146, to be honest, within probably by Wednesday next week would be nice. Again, pullbacks at some point. It needs to pull back. Like you can see here, we've always had kind of bearish days, which you've still got nice sell opportunities. Again, some pullbacks here. We saw 144, which I'll go on to in a minute, get pulled back to. So, if this opens and pulls down, it doesn't mean that the bias is changing. But yeah, long term, we need to fill some space up here, really. So trades last week on GJ were lovely, to be honest. If you just look as well at this price action on the 4 hour, it's probably not going to get any clearer than this, to be honest. So you can see on GJ, something we work on a lot, these kind of psychological numbers. So you've got 141 there. As you can see, 1 spike into it, 2 spike into it, 3 spike, a pullback, then we've closed. We're then coming back up towards 142. So you've got 142 around here. So as you can see, failed to break, failed to break, and eventually we did actually catch a nice long just from down here a couple of weeks ago. So you've got the breakout of 142, you've got the pullback and retest of this prior structure, which is what the arrow is, and then there was a lovely long that we actually caught from about here. Nice tight stops, about 25 pips, and we rolled that up to 144. So nice 160 pip trade, so that was a nice one. But it's just pure price action on GJ. You don't need no fibs, there's no trend lines involved really. It's just structure of the market. So as you can see, you've got highs, you've got double tops, you've got highs, you've got levels being broken and retested. You don't have to overcomplicate it with this pair. So more recent kind of price action. So we're looking at 144, which is here. 144, which is this bit of structure. So after breaking 142, we knew 144 was the next kind of from previous analysis we've done. We knew that this level had to be met. We took some profit here, and then price started retracing. So on the hourly, there was a lot of sell opportunities as well on this last week from this point, which we didn't actually catch, but I don't think we caught any anyway. So you can see 144 comes up and gets tapped, closes below. Great sell confirmation instantly there. Obviously, you need your entry kind of strategy, but beautiful sell there. And then, yeah, we're just making waves. So again, nice sells. You could probably fib some of these as well. Yeah, so you've got nice fib test there. Prior structure down here. So there's loads of sell opportunities on GJ. Even though it's going long, I think if you can adapt to understanding that there's opportunities in both directions, but knowing the overall direction. So you've got multiple sell options. And then it was this huge move to the upside. Where are we? I'm lost. So pretty sure this candle actually came off the back of some, I can't remember what kind of fundamental news it was now. It was either unemployment figures were positive for the UK or there's something like that, but it was positive news anyway, which essentially was what GJ needed. It'd been on a bull run. It was slowly kind of correcting itself. Some sells coming into the market, and then a bit of positive news to carry on with that impulse. So again, another nice opportunity here. We didn't actually catch the long on this, but you've got this impulse move up, you've got the correction, and then if you stick a fib on there with your recent lows as well in your structure, really nice kind of bit of indecision there. So if you've got a strategy based around using fibs and stuff, you could have caught a very nice long up, of which price is still going, to be honest. So it's massive swing potential. But we weren't in that anyway. But again, just showing you the structure on GJ was really nice and continues to be, to be honest. So 144 was met. The break of 144 was, to be honest, quite easy. Just dial into more recent price action. So we've broke 144. Now, just get on the hourly a bit more clear. Show you from the start of the week what we were doing. So, like I said, we've taken out 143, 800s, 144. We've broke. Bit of price action here. It doesn't mean an awful lot, but obviously one bearish candle, be a lot of orders on 144 being a lot of sell orders being taken, but wasn't sustained. Lovely little bullish kind of candle clears that straight away, which to us was saying, right, 144 is done. Next target 145. So this was towards the end of last Friday, and then we had the weekend, and market open was here. So this is where market opened last Sunday, obviously 10 p.m. UK time. Market opens, and then we start to push to the upside. So this was where we started watching GJ. So we have market open. We've created a new ceiling on Friday, kind of some miniature kind of resistance level. Again, Sunday night to early Monday morning, we tapped this level, come back down. If I just zoom in a little bit, make it clearer. So yeah, we're just ranging between this level. So at this point, really, it's confirming to us our two kind of support and resistance, if you like. So we've opened down here, we're bouncing around this region. So it's just a 10 or 20 pip kind of region. But these spikes are quite significant. It's proving to us that this is a level that, is a valid level. It's not nothing. There is potential there to catch a sell from or along, if it was to break up. So we had the breakout, and then we kind of got an aggressive entry on this one, to be honest, but just from previous experience with GJ, we was quite confident in it. We got the breakout, and then we always wait for the retest, which you can see in this bullish candle here. Did actually close above, and we have got that wick to the upside. So, I mean, for a moment, it did look like this thing was going to go back up top, which is always the risk when you're trading these kind of miniature ranges. Just find where we are. So we've come down, retested this level, and then we actually knew once we got this bearish close down, this bearish close here, we entered the market. Again, wasn't massively confident in terms of the candle closure, but we were confident that we got the overall direction fine with GJ. So a bit of an aggressive entry, which is why this one wasn't called. We didn't call this in the Telegram. We spoke about it in the community, but this one wasn't called live. So nice and easy stop loss on that, 8.5 pips. And I think it went for 30 pips in the end. Yeah, 32 pips. So it's a nice free, nearly 4% trade there we started off with on Monday morning. So that's 30 pips banked. And then there was actually an opportunity to get back in on this sell. So we hit TP down here. Obviously, it was a good area for TP because you've got to ask yourself, why did the market open here? Why didn't it open lower? Why didn't it open higher? So market opened here, so it was a good TP area. And then what we actually got from that, we got a huge push back up. Market's come back up, got some liquidity. So a lot of people, including me, were selling here. So people probably had stops at entry at this point. So the market's come out, it's taken them stops at entry, and then it's pushed back down lower. We've had a bit of range movement, and then it's carried on. So in total, to be honest, if we could have got us probably 60 to 70 pip trade there if we'd have kept hold of it. But yeah, still happy with it. We've then got, let's just have a quick look. There was another short that we took here. Once structured broken, again, not going to go into the full details, but we saw this lower time frame structure being created, multiple spikes into it, and then we finally spiked one more time, created a higher low, broke structure, waited for the pullback, and then we took a short from here, 6 pips stop, rolled this down, closed out in the end at 36 pips, and again, notice where we actually closed this trade. So we exited this trade at just above 144. Now, like I was saying before, on the importance of this level, we had this huge bullish move up above. We're trading above. We expected on Monday that price needed to pull back, which is where the sell buyers came from. And then we finally got to 144. Now, we didn't end up catching the long that we wanted from this level. I think we was quite fixated on the short positions we were still in. And kind of it slipped our mind about the overall kind of long-term bias on this. So and it happened very fast. It happened quickly for us to get the entry we would have wanted. So we did miss the main long on this, which was a bit frustrating because we was looking at entering down here on the retest. Stops would have been probably, about 15 pips below just to avoid this bit of structure here. And we would have rolled this all week knowing that it was the next impulse up, and it hit out in 140 pips. So that would have been nice. That would have been really nice long. If any of you managed to catch that, well done, because that was a lovely setup, to be honest. But regardless, we missed it. We saw price when it was up here, and we didn't want to risk the fact that it was a strong impulse move down. If we'd have got an aggressive entry up there, we would have needed a lot bigger stops, which made the risk not as much worth it with the traffic we've got here as well. So it is what it is. So we missed the initial move. We came back and we tested some structure here around 141,600. And then we got a pullback. So this was the pullback. This was almost a second opportunity to long this pair. So we missed the first on the retest of 144, but it did actually present another nice opportunity. So we actually got in a long position from around here. So let me just make this a bit clearer. So just to give you some kind of yeah, that's correct. So we actually came back, we tested 144, we had a push up. Now the reason we was looking to long this, other than the overall kind of bias, was because at this point here, there's still a risk that price could go back down. You know, it could double bottom, it could break. So we're still waiting for structure to break now, really, to confirm that it's completely and utterly a long. So we have kind of like a high point here, which was quite significant, because if you look to the left here, we've got a low, got a lower high, a lower low. So at this point, price has actually pushed up, taken out this previous structure point here, which from kind of our knowledge of GJ is quite significant. If it had come up to this point and through some upside wicks and pulled back down, to me that would have said that GJ was going to go on double bottom and potentially carry on. But the fact we actually broke this bit of structure here, so you can take it all the way back, to be honest, this level, we actually came above it. We did get a bit of a bearish close below and a bit of mess, if you like. But yeah, this is where the lower time frames come in. So then we was looking at kind of finding our new support region, which we would have gone off probably around here. So you've got the wicks down. So we did get a long position from this. Now, this was kind of late at night, as you can see at the bottom. We're going into Asian session. So started to move up. We got about 20 pips in profit, and then we did actually come down, probably back down to where we should have got the safe entry, if I'm in hindsight looking at it. So it pulled back up, and it did pull back down towards 144,400. At this point, we actually got another entry, because now we are looking kind of structurally really nice for the long. So we've made the new high. We've come back, and again, we've respected this new structure level that I spoke about. So where the wicks are here and the structure to the left over here. So it was a really nice kind of candle formation we were seeing here. So we've got another entry. So at this point, we're riding two entries, both obviously this one's an entry and this one's come back down. I think it was slightly in profit from where we ended up entering. And from that, really, we just took off. So in the end, this thing went for 50 pips, which was quite nice. Tight stops again on this one. It's about 7 pips. So yeah, it was a nice trade, to be honest. Just having a look at our exit plan on it. So we did see this bit of structure, which was already marked from the start of the week as a take profit point. So obviously, like I said, this resistance level we made on Monday seemed like a logical place to look to exit the trade. We did breach it. So we got out at this point here. And this is actually, if you look at the price of this level is 145. So we've now gone from 144. We've printed a new high on 145, which is nice. So it seemed like a logical place to get out of the trade. So it was about, we took about 5% off that long in total, which was cool. And then, yeah, price broke back below again. At this point, you know, just from the knowledge of the structure on GJ, it probably had to pull back. It's quite an impulsive move up to hit a psychological number. Chances are a lot of profit taking around these levels, which means that what you're going to find is that sellers start to come back in the market to take some sells and some scalps and stuff like that. So we did actually then look at the short trade. I don't believe we entered this one, but we mapped it out and just watched, and it played perfectly. So you've got the breach of 145, the closes below, got a lot of range bound movement. And then again, you've created this kind of structure, which is really nice. Just zoom in. So you've got, you know, wicks to the downside, come back above. You've got again this wick back into 144,850. Instant kind of liquidity shooting off there. So that's nice. And then we had this big bearish engulfing candle, which again, from kind of previous experience with GJ, these kind of candles are really nice confirmations as that momentum is actually coming in the market. So up until this point, we're ranging. a lot of wicks, a lot of dojis, a lot of indecision, huge bearish engulfing, capturing all this price action. So yeah, from that point on, we thought, okay, potential this pair could now go back and retrace down. So we then got another bearish candle, 15-minute close away from all this structure. Great entry confirmation, to be honest. Put the profit and loss key on there, and yeah, it felt quite nicely in the end. Like I said, we didn't take that trade, but it's a nice example of how you can ride a trade kind of on the impulsive move up and then look at shorting it back down. So yeah, that was good to see anyway. Again, after that, things got a little bit messy. It didn't hit TP, but it went for about 25 pips. So still quite nice. We then went and retested this level twice. Huge bearish candle and a lot of choppy price action, to be honest. So if I just get rid of some of this stuff now, it might be a bit clearer as to what's going on. So if you hop to the 4 hour, again, it's not as clear compared to the waves that we've been seeing previously, but it just shows you if you break the time frames down, there's a lot of opportunities. But so we've come from 143, a big impulse move up. We found our new highs. We've retested the recent highs. We've made a new high here, and then we've come back down. Now there was two options at this point, whether after creating the new high at 145, we was either going to go back to 144, or we was going to kind of create a new structure point to go higher. So again, there was no opportunities for us really in here. We didn't want to sell. We didn't want to look to get back in and force the trade after we've just seen it do it once. So we started to watch price action, and yeah, this was towards the end of the week. GJ was obviously having another strong week. It was bullish overall, so we was expecting more upside before the end of the week. So yeah, we started to map out structure. We started to look at the potential of this pair, kind of finding a key level and impulsing off it. So we had this breach, had a lot of choppy movements, and then something we actually noticed was on the 15-minute, the kind of shape up that it was making. So this is where you're experiencing structure and the highs and lows and stuff really helps. So previous support, we've had one wick, one spike and a close above. We've had a lot of kind of price action sitting on this level, multiple drives back into this support. Now we did get a breach, but what's interesting is that price couldn't sustain the sell here. So it pulled back above. Again, looking at these candles are really nice. Huge bullish move. Took out all the recent structure. You've got a bit of resistance there if you actually take that across to the wicks. Price just closed above, depending on how you do your zones, but it's more about the overall structure. It doesn't really matter how you're drawing these things. But towards that, this kind of movement said potential that the bulls are coming into the market. We had a pullback again, and we're retesting the structure level. Again, price action looked really nice. And then we got a nice bullish doji. So we actually entered from this point. Now, it was, in all honesty, it was probably a bit of a riskier trade. But when you understand that you've had the impulse move down, you're getting a lot of range-bound movement, and then you see a bullish move like this with the structure kind of being taken and all that. You put that all together, it seemed like a good trade, to be honest. And given that we was up for the week anyway, it was definitely worth the risk. So stops were a little bit lower on this one. You can see about nearly 10 pips on this. And there was the risk that price could have brought back down and hit the structure, but as we've seen, the support level has been tested multiple times, and we kind of had to trust that it would have holded. So gained our entry. Huge impulse move up. Well, not huge, to be honest, on the 15-minute, but a nice kind of strong candle. And then from there, really, it was smooth sailing. Not an awful lot of pullbacks, really. And then this was actually the new kind of impulse move up. So this is what we were looking for, the main move. So you've got one impulse from 144. Price has made the new high. Price has come back down. It's created a new lower high. a new higher low, sorry. So nice price action if you look on the 4 hour as well, and the support level that I just spoke about. And then there's the next impulse move up. So I ended up going for 80 pips, not far off 100 pip move, to be honest. And then that's how the week closed. So great Friday close, great weekly close. Another just completely bullish candle, to be honest. But it just shows you how even in a weekly candle that looks like this, you can still catch the market in both directions. So yeah, finished on just short of 10% for the week. Some nice sell positions from market open. We missed a huge move from 144, which would have probably doubled the week's returns. But it's good to see it play anyway. Just nice kind of structure play. So you've got your highs, your pullbacks, your new highs, you've got your pullbacks again. Price comes back up, makes a new high, gets a lot of liquidity, pulls back. So you can see the pattern emerging with it. It's just being able to break them down on the lower time frames. One thing I will say is pay a lot of attention to kind of like the structure. Price seems to return back to places that it's been before. So you've got market open up here. We've got the impulse back down to 144 where we was the week before, another pull up to the recent structure. And then you've got your lower time frame kind of structure here as well. So multiple drives into it, a new high which created again a new high. You could have even entered at this point here, would have been nice. You've taken out the recent high points here. To be honest, you could have even waited for what are we at 144,900 for this significant kind of hourly and 4 hour resistance level here. You could have waited for this candle close, which closed above it all. Again, essentially from that point, no drawdown, straight up. So that would have been a safer entry. But yeah, you get the gist anyway. So overall, happy with it. From here, to be honest, just the same as last week, really. I can see, we've come up, we've tapped. Where did we get to? So again, not far off 145,500, which would have been a nice kind of middle number. For this now, really, I mean, you've got this region here. Obviously, previous high 145 could get met. Just having a look at the overall. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Long term, I think possible pullbacks, like I've said, 145 looks quite nice. Might not get to that, to be honest, with the strength of GJ last week. It wouldn't surprise me if it starts to pull back, 10 or 15 pips, doesn't quite make it, and then fires off from there. So you just have to keep an eye on it, really. It doesn't always go to where you want. I mean, it did for 144. So this was a perfect trade. Absolutely perfect. If you got in on the retest there, simple trend kind of identifications. You've got your high, your high and low, your new high, and then like I said, if you put a fib on there as well, it just gets ridiculous. So you've got 61.8, which is obviously the nice spot to long from. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Won't surprise me if we retest the structure, or at least if we try to. Again, if we close below this, if we come back and close below these levels, and show some bearish kind of movements, it's a potential that we could be short in this pair. We could still get a quite conservative trade. You could come back down to 144. You're looking at 100 pips. Even the lower time frame structure, you still got, 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 set up. So you've got to be open with what happens. I think the key is up bright and early on Monday, see what the market looks like it's doing. So yeah, we'll keep you posted anyway. Hope everybody has a good trading week.